Coffee. I'm gonna do this whole video about coffee. I'm not. No. In my experience, it seems that INFJs get a rap for appearing confident, not in like a social situation as far as pushing themselves, but as far as their belief structures or their values and the way that they stand regarding certain issues. They seem sort of stubborn and bullheaded sometimes, sort of their idealism at play. But I think this is a rather unfortunate manifestation of what's going on, or unfortunate understanding of what's going on. I think that INFJs are deeply disconnected from their own values. And what I mean by that is that they can have a moral structure, which everyone can, and they can stick to that, no problem. And the beliefs that they believe in can seem very strong, and are. And there are certain levels that nobody's going to really be able to touch, they're very confident in. But that has more to do with their confidence of perception, and it can be overly confident, I believe. I believe that it mostly is overly confident. But there are times when it becomes very clear to me that the INFJ is actually subject to the approval of everybody around them, that they deem, well, scrap that, no, everybody around them. And this leads to behavior that is not true to the INFJ's wishes or desires, and they seek the approval of everybody else because they have learned that their values are different than those around them, and that maybe their moral structure is a bit different too. I know in my particular situation, I feel deeply disconnected from an ability to stand solid for minute details of a day. There are certain things that I am very confident about that are just very fundamental. They're very minimalistic. There's almost 100% of room to change perspective for me, because I don't believe that any one person's perspective can be the whole picture, and I don't believe that there is, just one right way of doing anything. So for me, I'm always interested in shaking my own perspective and shaking that of everybody else around me simultaneously. But there's a way in which the things that I want to do with my life, the things that I value, I'm not comfortable with asserting, because if I do that, then I run into opposition. I run into people saying, well, that's not the way I would have done that, or I don't think that's the right decision for you, or, well, good, I'm glad you're doing that, because I always thought you could do that, and, that's exactly what you should be doing in society. And those things to me are things that I wish I didn't listen to, and I do. There is a sense of self-worth for me that is tied to my ability to connect with people because of their approval. This is very dangerous. How does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. The people that I find myself most drawn to and really respecting are the people who have a very defined sense of self and can bring strong values and strength to the table. They're not adversarial. They're not saying, well, this is what I believe, and if you don't believe that, then screw you, and stuff like that. It's very solid. It's very confident in a non-confrontational way. And I had my INTJ friend told me that the way he feels about it, because INTJs are like that. They have the loose, movable perception of intuition, but they also have the confidence of TE, which is very confident, and they also have the internal value system of FI. That makes them very okay with sort of standing where their values are and not worrying about other people agreeing or not. He described it to me as, well, if everybody can define where they stand on an issue and sort of just stand there for themselves, then it's easier for everybody, because then everybody can know where people stand, and you can work with disagreement. What you can't work with is people who just agree for the sake of agreeing and then passively disagree later, and you can't work with people who just don't care. They just kind of tag along. And to me, I fall into that first category. I'll agree with most things because I don't want the conflict. I'd rather keep my self-value system in a floating, fluid state, undefined, because I want to see how to match the person that I'm with. I want to see what are their values, what are the things that they approve of and disapprove of, and how can I use my undefined state in this moment to show them the things that they will approve of or be neutral about, and hide or just don't mention. I never go so far as lying. I never do that, but it's like removing the things that I'm aware that they would disapprove of and show only the things that I know would fit their schema or their value system. So I keep myself in an undefined state so that I can better connect or communicate with people. I find this both useful and kind of disturbing. I've seen INFJs do this all the time, and I see them oscillate between not really knowing how to be confident for what they really believe in without being dogmatic. And then the flip side of that is dogma, where they just say, absolutely not. This is the way it is because, well, this is what they'll say and this is what they mean. This is the way it is because, well, this and this and this and this, and, this law or this thing. I don't know, they'll just cite things, and it's like, yeah, that doesn't actually make sense. Did you really think about that? Is that you talking or somebody else? Is that you thinking about that, or is that you being scared because you found out that your viewpoints were threatened? So I really think they're saying, this is what I think about this because I'm too scared to go find out that there's actually something else, and I feel very uncomfortable to have my viewpoints shattered with something new that I can't perceive at first. This is really kind of an inferiority complex, and that to me is disturbing. I wish that there was an easier way to get in touch with FI. For the INFJ, it's removed, and I don't think they even understand most of the time. It took me forever to realize that there was such a thing as being internally confident in my own experience and being okay with validating my own experience. There is sort of this feeling I have about people who are very confident with this. And even before I knew typology, I could sense this from people. And that it's almost like there are these people that they bring themselves to the table. They say, these are these are the ways that I orient myself around this. This thing is good. This thing is bad. Look at this and look at this and look at this. And they're not confrontational about it. They're just well defined. There's a difference. And I've always been deeply uncomfortable with that because I see them and I say, I wish I could have that. How do you have that? To me, if I define myself, then I have people saying I disagree. I have people saying, good on you, to be Australian for a second. But there's all of a sudden this massive resistance that I've subjected myself. It's almost like I don't know, like the boat that's on the water, and all of a sudden it's like, no, dropping anchor. And it drops anchor, and then for the first time, it feels resistance. INFJs really struggle with this because more than anything else, they want to feel safe from resistance. They want to feel safe from people attacking them. And yeah, it's great and all. It's a real desire. There's nothing wrong with it. But I think that maybe the answer to that is to just not isolate like they do. It's to find connections to people who can co-navigate with them. Nobody was ever meant to go through life alone. That's stupid if you think that you can do this all alone. Um, I think everyone would pretty much agree with that. I mean, humanity wouldn't be anywhere near where it is today if everyone had to go it alone. We are social creatures. We're deeply social creatures. Really, we're all kind of in this together. You know, typologically aside, we're all just people. And people are kind of cool. That's my rant. There's no structure to this.